Welcome back to the channel where we are empowering the workforce one conversation at a time. My name is Jason Ely, and today we are talking about my top 3 interview criteria. They are probably not what you think. So, top 3 criteria. To me, these are the top 3 distractions. And I've been a project manager for over 10 years. I have interviewed a lot of people. And I think it's really important to understand the recruitment process so you get in the right mindset for the conversation you're going to have with an interviewer. When I receive a resume from our recruiters, it's already gone through a screening process. Generally, the candidate has already had a screening phone call with the recruiter. And by the time I receive that packet, I have notes from the recruiter, comments that happened during their screening conversation, and then I also get a copy of that resume. So I'm looking at not just the paper that you're submitting as the candidate, but also the comments that the recruiter has made based on the conversation, the screening call that they had. And generally those screening calls are going down a checklist of experience, looking for basic requirements that I have already asked the recruiter to go find for a specific position. So when I select somebody for an interview, I'm not looking to review the entire resume with that person. I'm not looking to check a list of basic requirements. I'm looking to see if that person would be a good fit for the team. And that's a much harder conversation to have. And I think as a job candidate, it's really hard to understand really how to have the right conversation, given that every single hiring manager is going to be different. So this is definitely my opinion, and this is going to be a little bit non-traditional, but these are the things that I find the biggest distractions. These are the top 3 things that I look for in an interview, and these are the things that set people apart. And again, I think that's what you're really trying to do here, is set yourself apart, because a lot of resumes make it through the screening for basic criteria. And there's a lot of resumes that come through with great schools, great GPAs, great prior work experience. So when we actually get to the point of having a conversation, what is it that I'm actually using as selection criteria? So here we go. Criteria number 1, first and foremost, I'm looking to see if you're comfortable. And now, what I don't mean here is nervous. Nervous is fine. Nervous is normal. Nervous is totally valid. But what I'm looking for is to see whether or not you're comfortable with yourself, confident in how you're presenting. We can have a lot of discourse during an interview, and we can even disagree during an interview. What I'm looking for is really someone who has a certainty about themselves and their presence in that moment. This is everything from physical posture, right, to how you present, how decisive your comments are. It's really important to note, I'm not looking for arrogance specifically, but there is a way, and there's lots of videos on YouTube to look at behavioral interviews and how to actually present yourself in a confident manner. That's the first thing that I look for. I'm very compassionate to people who are nervous during interviews. And again, nervousness is okay, but what I can't have on the team, especially in a consulting environment that's very high pressure and in front of a lot of client-facing folks that have, I'm going to say it again, a lot of pressure on the interactions. What I can't have is somebody in the room who doesn't feel like they have a reason to be there. They don't really believe in themselves in that way. Because if that is true, and I've seen this many times, unfortunately, once we start getting to critical feedback or, when there's a little bit of uncertainty about the product that we're delivering, those people tend to not survive in the industry of consulting. As much as I try to help them through that situation, it just generally isn't a good fit. So when we join a call, especially during virtual interviews that are on camera, again, being nervous is okay, but just having a peace and a confidence about yourself and why you're there, and understanding your connection to the job, the application, the company, it goes a really long way to setting yourself apart. A lot of this is nonverbal. And again, I would highly encourage you to spend some time looking at some videos about confidence and just how to be present in the moment to kind of bring your best self and have a real personal interaction. The second criteria I look for is the ability to just simply have a conversation. So again, this may be a little non-traditional because I know there's a lot of hiring managers out there that want to hit hard really quick and go real deep into technical competency and whether or not there's an intellectual rigor behind the candidate. I generally don't stress test people in that way. Again, by the time I get a resume, it's been screened. We have the basic criteria from the recruiter. And what I'm looking for is the ability to have a long-term fit in this role. And if this person can really, dare I say, survive in a consulting environment that's very high stress and high pressure. So the ability to have a conversation is really important. I think we make the mistake a lot, especially in these high pressure, fast paced, quick delivery environments, that we think that we can develop a relationship when we're just purely focused on product and delivery. I think that's a little backwards. I think we need to be able to establish a relationship before we get to product and delivery, because it's on that foundation that we're able to really dig in and give critical feedback and process things as quickly as we need to. So the ability to have conversation, have some small talk. I'm not talking about the weather unless there's a hurricane. Clearly that would be something worth noting. But small talk can be about the company. Small talk is as simple as somebody asking me how I got into the company, or what interests me about the field of consulting, or that they saw me on YouTube, right? So I'm handing you that one if you're interviewing with me. But just generally the ability to have a conversation and, again, be present in that moment together is really, really important. Candidates are nervous. It's understandable. We stutter, we second guess, we rehearse questions, and then we fall back on it and go, oh, that's not, I'm starting to look, oh, now I'm not being confident, or I'm second guessing myself and I'm not looking good and I'm not making an impression. But just to have a piece and go, oh, you know what? Let's start talking about something that we just have general interest in. You see a guitar in the background and various things hanging on the wall and books on the shelf. And a lot of people comment on my blue wall behind me. Yes, candidates on video interviews will comment on the blue wall. And we just talk about color and what's their favorite color. And it sounds silly, but we're establishing rapport and getting a cadence to that conversation. And when that's not present, it makes my job much harder as an interviewer to pull information from a candidate. So again, this is why it's number 2 in my list of top 3 criteria that I look for in an interview. Number 3, curiosity. My favorite interviewers, having interviewed many times myself, and my favorite interviews with candidates are conversations where we're exploring something together. I can't tell you how many times I've been in an interview with someone and we come up with a what if question together. I've explained the job, I've explained the consulting environment, I've explained the client, I've answered questions, I've asked questions of their experience. And then there's that moment when a candidate thinks, wait, what if it's like this? Or what if I was interested in trying to do this new thing or bring this new technology into the company? Or what if I have an interest that's outside the project? Or, what if these two things fit together? We explore a topic and I learn things from some of these interviews and I love it. And again, if you're looking to stand out as a candidate, those are really critical moments. So there's a lot of conventional advice, and it's good advice to prepare for an interview with a list of questions. But as a hiring manager, the ones who stand out the most are the questions that they come up with on the spot. That's a product of active listening. It's a product of being present. It's a product of being confident enough to ask a what if on the spot. It's a product of being, sure in yourself to maybe challenge something that I've said. Now do it professionally, but it's totally welcome because again, I'm not hiring a piece of paper. I'm not hiring a degree. I'm not hiring a robot. I'm hiring a person who I want to make the team better. And if I'm doing my job right, I'm hiring somebody who knows more about something than I do so that our team can build on our capability and scale and teach each other. So I'm really excited to share this with you. I'm hoping that some of the people who I have future interviews with watch this video. Feel free to tell me if you did. So that's my top 3 criteria. That's how you stand out as a candidate for me. And I should probably end it there because I'm going to start to ramble. If there's anything that you'd like to see in a future video, feel free to comment below. I will definitely address that. This whole channel is devoted to empowering the workforce, whether it's trying to get a job, interviewing, keeping a job, transitioning from employer to employer, or how to convert one job field to another. This channel really is devoted to you. So please let me know if there's anything that I can do or anything I can address for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. But if you don't, that's okay too. I'll see you next time.